Hello, YNABers. My name is Jesse Meekum, and this is podcast number 9 for You Need a Budget, where we teach you 4 rules to help you stop living paycheck to paycheck, prevent holiday debt, and save more money for the holidays that are 12 months from now. You realize that we're now 6 days away from Christmas, D-Day, and you have about 12 months to save up for the next one. So come January 1st, a lot of you are going to want to get back on your budget, and I encourage that. But make sure you build in some habits, some triggers, kind of like what we talked about last week. Make sure you make it easy on yourself. Motivation is not enough. You need to do little tricks to make sure you stay on track. You will have 12 months, literally, in about 2 weeks from now, you'll have a whole 12 months to save up for Christmas or any other holiday you celebrate. So think about that and plan on it. This is the first year where I did my dad date shopping with each of the kids in my office online, where we watched videos and could find deals, and I showed them how you can dig for coupon codes in Google and save some money. They were pretty amazed by that. And we got some fun stuff. I'm excited. We're paying all cash for Christmas. This month of cash crunch is just as normal as any other month. There are no real normal months, but it's as normal as any abnormal month is. And we aren't stressed at all because of Christmas. And that is quite a blessing. So stick with me next year. 1/12 of Christmas every month for the entire year. You will love it. Everyone around you will love it too, because you'll be a lot more fun to be around. Okay, so let's get started with today's podcast. I did something very cool, interviewed another success story person, which is Sheridan. This very, very fun interview that we did with, not that I want her to take offense or anything, but a very normal family. 3 boys, husband working, she's working part-time, but raising these boys. She's got her own business, which I'll let her explain since I really had no idea what it was at first. And anyway, you guys can hear their success. It's been fun to do these interviews. If you would like to be interviewed as a success story for the podcast, you can contact Anne at youneedabudget.com. That's ANNE at youneedabudget.com. So without further ado, except to say that I apologize for my side of the audio, I have a wireless headset that I think I'm going to ditch. It's on the fritz. So Sheridan's side is good, and that was the side that counts, is hearing from her. Without further ado, here is my call with Sheridan. I'll catch you guys on the other side. Okay, I'm on the phone with Sheridan from Orange County, California. She's the second victim of our success story interviews. So hello, Sheridan. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, thanks.
Well, thank you so much for coming on. I wanted to, I'm excited to have just these people, real people using YNAB and getting stories that aren't filtered through our website. So it'll be fun to have you guys, have you kind of give the uncut version. And you can give us hard feedback as well, whatever is, we can take it. So let me first ask you, I said you lived in Orange County, California, and wanted to mention that you had 3 boys. So are you a stay-at-home mom, or are you working as well as raising up those 3 kids?
I'm mostly stay at home. I also teach Hypno Babies, which is a childbirth for hypnosis program. And I'm a birth doula, so for my students that want a little extra help during their birth, I just go and help mom and dad out. And I also blog about birth at enjoybirth.com. So I'm really passionate about birth, in addition to being a mom of 3 boys,
Yeah, awesome. Now, if you were helping the dad, are you so you're in the room, like during the delivery, obviously.
Right.
Helping on there. So when I help my wife during those situations, if I recall, and they kind of get blurry, but I think I basically just sit there. So I'm curious how you help the dads, or Yeah, I'm very curious about that. What would you do to
Right.
help me during that stressful
Well,
situation?
I kind of it kind of takes the stress off of dad to have an extra person there that's really familiar with birth and knows how to support moms during that time. I like to help the dads by giving them really easy things to do that make them,
Feel
that
useful.
yeah, that make them useful. And I
Yeah.
think just having the stress taken off of them because at a hospital the nurses are usually busy doing other things, and so dad kind of bears that weight of really supporting mom, which is great, but sometimes they both need a little extra support. So
Yeah. Cool. That's interesting. I've often wondered. Well, we've had lots of different adventures, obviously, with four kids that have come, and
mhm.
I've often wondered like if I could be doing something better or what I could do. Our best situation was when my wife had an epidural
Mhm.
and she was induced, but got the epidural before she was induced.
Right,
So it was like this. It was like we were on a date. We just
right,
sat and
right.
chatted, and none of them smooth. That was our second. So anyway, I
Mhm.
remember that one pretty distinctly because we were like, man, this is the best. We had this alone time. We could chat. It was kind of fun. But
Right.
anyway, well, that's cool. I'm glad you could chat. So the website is enjoybirth.com for
Correct.
anyone interested. Okay, cool. Very cool. All right. Well, let's move on to other, perhaps slightly less interesting topics. But so you're married. What does your husband do for a living?
He has a internet invoicing company, so he does computer stuff.
What is it? Something that people could hear and be
Um,
interested in checking
Maybe
out?
it's called iPayables, and
iPayables. Okay.
I I don't know. I don't know. They do computer stuff with money.
Okay, if you're interested in computer stuff with money, you
That's
want to
right.
Google
Check out
iPayables.
iPayables. Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right, well let's dig into the meat here. Describe your financial. Okay, I need to ask you how long you've been using YNAB. I should get that
Okay.
out there.
I figured it out. It's been about 2.5 years.
Oh, okay, good. You're a vet at this point.
I guess so.
So, okay, very cool. And describe your financial situation prior to using YNAB. Just how did it feel? If you're comfortable sharing numbers, you can. You don't have
Okay.
to. Whatever's
All right.
for you.
So I would say that Rob and I are both pretty good with money. Like we're savers by nature. And I was a Quicken junkie. I used Quicken pretty pretty much since the time we were married. So
Okay.
we were pretty good with money, but we would sometimes try and set budgets, but it was hard to really tell when we were going over budget till like at the end of the month. I'd always do a Excel spreadsheet showing what we
Hmm.
had spent, and we weren't really good. We were good at saving, but not good at like saving for college or saving for retirement. Not
Yeah,
specific things.
with those kind of more specific goals. So you naturally like to have money in the bank, but
Right,
not necessarily like with a clear delineated purpose.
right.
Okay. Well, I mean, it sounded like things weren't super stressful for you or anything like that.
Right. Well, it was kind of stressful. One thing is that Quicken, they kept like upgrading, and like you had to upgrade or you couldn't download your information from the internet anymore. And
Oh, yeah.
it was just, so I was sick of Quicken, and it was frustrating to get the reports I wanted. I would have to like put things in Excel and cut and paste to sit down and have a good conversation with Rob about our money. So that was frustrating. So that's kind of what made me look for something else.
Okay.
And that's how I found YNAB.
Okay, cool. So in when you looked at YNAB, was there something where you said, um, like something that clicked with you saying, "Oh, okay, this is what it is." I would love to obviously dial in marketing better from my side, but maybe if there's someone out there that could hear from you kind of what the light bulb moment was or where it clicked where you said, "Oh, this is what we're going to try."
I think it was just the four rules that you had um, that really made sense. Like we had already been like having extra money, but it was more like I really like the idea of giving each dollar a job.
Hmm.
Like that made sense to me, but we hadn't been doing that. And so that was the one thing I was like, oh, if I could not only have a computer program that helps me keep track of my money, but gives me a tools to really know how to manage it, that kind of steps it up a notch and made it really worthwhile.
Yeah. So you were kind of going from because Quicken's really good at tracking, and
Mhm.
so you're kind of going, well, the tracking's we want to step it up a notch, like you said. So we're going to
Right.
start not just tracking, but also kind of managing a little
Right.
better.
Exactly.
So I like that. I always talk about it in terms of like a time management person that's saying plan your day before the day starts versus
Right.
after. And so a
Right.
lot of us could probably do better managing our money that way, deciding beforehand. So,
Mhm.
um, well, how are things going now? I mean, you've been on the YNAB bandwagon for 2.5 years. What do things look like for you?
So really good. We're we're definitely able to um, spend our money more wisely now, and to see really, I love the iPhone app. That makes it so easy, and I can just sit down on the sofa with Rob and like look on my iPhone and say, "Oh, look, we need to. If we're going to go out this weekend, we better go someplace cheap because we don't have that much money left in our date budget." So,
Uh-huh.
it's just so much easier to really see what's going on.
Yeah.
And we've also been much more specific and in where we save it. Like we opened 529 plans for the boys, and
Cool. Very cool.
yeah, which we'd been talking about for years and years and years, but had never done. It just seemed so hard. But we just started assigning that money, a certain amount each, $400 a month for all three boys, which isn't that much, but I mean, it
Yeah.
sounds like a lot, but then you realize it's not. But anyway, once we signed the money, gave that dollar a job,
Yeah.
we
I like how
realized,
you
oh,
keep
we could
using my
do this.
rule there. That sounds
Yes.
good. That's
Yeah.
good.
So I'd say those are the biggest changes.
Very cool. And now, how old are your boys?
14, 11, and 6.
So the 6-year-old, he'll
Yes,
he'll be he'll be rolling in it. The 14-year-old will be like, "What the heck? This is so unfair." You know,
I
the
know.
6-year-old's loaded with money falling out of his pockets on his way to school. So
Yeah,
well, that's just how it goes with the youngest. So
yeah.
I mean, I had my youngest sister. She was spoiled beyond contempt, really. So which we all say, and she's super sweet for it. So you can't really hold it against her. But
Right.
um, okay, cool. Well, is there? It's interesting because you were talking about like sitting on the sofa and kind of telling your husband Rob like, hey, we can go out. We'll have to go somewhere a little cheaper. Have
Mhm.
you noticed anything in your relationship that has changed as a result of just? It sounds like you guys are pretty much on the same page. It feels like you're a team in it. So
Mhm.
maybe you're just kind of had that all along, or has that improved or changed in any way?
I think it's made it a little bit easier to communicate about it because we can both see very clearly what is going on. Um, so I've always been in charge of the money, but before, like, I don't know, I like being able to show it to him, whereas I
Yeah.
couldn't really do that before as easily. So,
So he does this business, this iPayables business. Is he
mhm.
running the thing? Is he running that company,
Yeah,
or is,
he's the COO.
so
So he's
he's used to having information,
charts. Yeah, like he
filtered
likes
up to him, and I
exactly.
see.
He likes the spreadsheets and all of that. And so with Quicken, it wasn't easy to do that for him, but with YNAB, I can just do a report so easily, and he can see very visually where we're at. And
Yeah,
so he likes that aspect of it, and I do too, because then it's just easier to communicate about it.
yeah, very cool. Um, I had another. Oh, do you with your work? It sounds like you are maybe like in a freelance situation. Is that accurate?
Yeah,
Okay, and then is your husband? He's not in a freelance situation. It's
correct.
more steady. So you have a little hybrid apparently with how your income's coming in. So that's
Yeah. And
not
I,
too
I
bad.
actually I track my business money with YNAB also in a separate like YNAB
Oh, cool.
thing. So yeah,
Very
I
cool.
use it for my work, which I really like.
What's something as far as your work goes? This is off the cuff now, but what's something where you'd say, hey man, for as far as using it for your business, something we could add to the software or somewhere that we could make your life easier as a business owner using YNAB.
Um, I don't know. I've really enjoyed using it for my business. I don't know that it could be better. I guess no, I don't know.
Nothing. Wow, you are the best customer in the world. It's like, nah, I'm good. Thanks.
Yeah, I am good. I'm good. It would be one thing, which I don't, it would be
Here
kind
it
of nice
comes.
if I could
Here it
have,
comes.
here it is. If like on my iPhone, I could see my two different accounts.
Yeah. Like
But
like multiple budgets. Like here's my personal, here's my
right,
business.
right. But
I hear you.
that doesn't really matter because, but I mean, that's one thing. But I wouldn't even probably use that because, I
Well,
don't
that
need to
was
sit on the sofa and talk to Rob about my work stuff. So,
I see. Yeah, okay. So mobility for the business isn't as high a
right, of a
priority.
priority.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I gotcha. Well, now there it went back to the very last of the line on the feature list, but it was at the top for a moment.
Uh,
I was feeling it. I have with my own business, I don't track it in YNAB, and for 2012, my goal is to do that and to move off of QuickBooks. I know maybe pulling their cars over to the side of the road, but I use them for that. One, because I was tied to them for payroll back in the day. Now I'm not. I run through a different company, but
mhm.
I had all these reasons that I was being latched onto still. But I'm really hopeful I can move the business over to YNAB next year, and then through my own experience, kind of say, oh man, I'd really want this, because then it probably would jump to the front of the list for
Right,
features.
right.
So we'll see how it goes. But yeah, that's one thing I'd like is the multiple budgets from the phone.
Hmm.
That would be good. So we have some ideas on how we could implement in the future. We'll always working on something.
Yeah.
Is there anything you want to ask me or anything like that? Like I've asked you a lot of questions. Is there?
I thought of one thing that I'd like to share that really helped Rob and I get off on a good financial footing when we got married. Someone had mentioned that when they got married, they lived on just their husband's salary, even though they both were working,
Oh,
because she knew she wanted to stay home when they had kids. And so when I got married, I'm like, oh, we should do that. So we really tried to do that, just live off of Rob's salary, which we did not completely perfectly, but it made it easy when I did stay home with the boys that I could afford to do that. So
yeah,
anyone out there that's going to get married, try that.
yeah. Give that a shot. That's great advice. That's really really good advice. Okay, well, if you don't have any other questions for me, I don't have any more for you. That was quite fun.
Yeah.
And I love hearing, voices of real customers. So, yeah, I just enjoy that. This is becoming a kind of a highlight of my work is doing these interviews, which is cool.
Oh, great.
So, I guess we can leave it at that, and I will see if there's any follow up. I don't think there's anything that would be hanging out there that was kind of confusing or anything that I could maybe would need to follow up on. So sounds like you guys are doing awesome.
Yeah.
So more power to you, and hopefully your boys are absorbing this budgeting concept and
Yeah. Well, we
getting
do.
it.
We talked to them about it, and they track their money as best they can. So
And you can kind of tell them like, no, we can't have that because it's not in the budget.
exactly.
Pretty empowering. I love having a leg to stand on when I have to tell my kids no or yes. Like no
Right.
because of this. So the budget's the bad guy, and you can keep liking your dad. So that's kind of the thing. But all right. Well, thanks so much, Sheridan. And just one more time, your website was enjoy. What was it
En-
again? Enjoy Birth.
enjoybirth.com. Yeah.
Enjoybirth.com.
Yeah.
Very cool.
And I do have a free ebook on there that people can download. The top 3 tips to enjoy your birth. So maybe your wife could download it and
What's the first tip? What's the very first one?
I'm
I don't
like,
want to spoil the
remember
rest
off
of
the
it.
top of my head. Basically, to choose your care provider wisely, have a supportive care provider. Um, yeah, I think that's the first tip.
Okay, cool. And maybe someone that you could stick with. We've had a different one for the 4 kids, different provider every time. You're
Oh,
like,
yeah.
hey, here are the Meekums. So
Right.
this next one we actually will get to repeat. First time,
Oh,
same
good.
hospital, same provider. So that's kind of nice. So
Yeah. It's more
okay,
familiar.
cool. Well, that's
All
there are
right.
some people out there that will find that very useful. So I appreciate you sharing.
Sure.
Okay, Sheridan. Well, thanks so much. Have a good weekend and good luck with your budgeting.
All right. Thank you.
Okay, we'll talk to you later.
Okay. Bye.
Bye. All right, everybody. I guess that is a wrap. I wish you all a very Merry Christmas and hope to see you next week. Until then, follow YNAB's 4 rules and you will win financially. You have not budgeted like this.